All right, how's it going, everybody? How do you get that all set up? Um, it's good to see you. Let me say hello. All right, we got Dina Kozlov, Maud Methild. Oh, this one stumped me. Methild H. Okay, Tart with a Heart, Perfectly Imperfect, Lona Love, Katie 2, Michelle Morales, Rachel Hudson, Lokamai, have fun. Oh man, Rubicon 39, Giacomo Saint Almost Fire, Jennifer Green, Cherry K, Nicole H. You're not late? What are you talking about? Sorry, I'm late. Talking about I'm late before it even started. All right. Amy Jade, Mandy Smith, Adrienne Humphreys, D. Marie 85, Sam B, Jessica Moon, Louisiana Girl, Crime Story, what's up? Totally Clueless. That's somebody's name. I'm not saying you're totally clueless. Right. All right. Margot, Alyssa Davis. All right. Okay, guys. So we're going to go over a couple of things today. Oh, Kaylee P, thanks. I'm really glad that you liked it. Well, actually, you didn't say that. You just said it was perfect timing. But I'm assuming since you're here, you didn't hate it. So appreciate it. Let's see here. Yeah. So we've got Summer Moon Utah Wells, and she has been missing for over 2 weeks. She is blonde, short hair, 3 feet tall, 40 pounds. And we're actually going to go over what Mom says actually happened. This is the first time, the reason why I'm doing this live, and a lot of people already did it yesterday. I was watching another channel, and I want to give them a shout out. Was Unmasked, I believe it's called. And they actually claim to it, and I believe them, but she didn't go on camera, or it wasn't recorded, or maybe it was, and she requested that her voice does not end up on the live. I'm not sure exactly, but they had a transcript of their interview that they conducted with Candus Bly. So, oh my goodness, thank you so much, Nicole Marie. I appreciate it. They were definitely an entertaining channel. Plus, I was really impressed with the questions that they asked, and I'm really glad that I caught that before I caught the television interview, and it aired. So it was very interesting because the most important thing that I noticed between Unmasked interview and this television interview was that there were no inconsistencies. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the television interview here. But I just want to congratulate Unmasked on and give them props, man, on asking great questions that and really it came off like they were trying to squash the rumors and not perpetuate them, which I'm really grateful to them for that. Because they're a huge channel, very, very large platform. There were like 2,000 people in the chat, and it was one of the most responsible and thoughtful interviews that I've ever heard. And I mean, when I say thoughtful, I mean she was thoughtful to not only Candus, but she was thoughtful to her listeners who wanted to know this stuff. They both were. So I thought it was very respectful crime story. Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over now, you guys know me when we do these television interviews in cases like this. Giaco Mia actually told me about them. So thanks for that recommendation. I appreciate it. And there's usually when I do these things, I go over the interview kind of play by play. You know what I mean? I kind of break it down with my observations. I did this like 3 times with Letitia Stock's interview, and so let's go ahead and go over that real quick here.
Josh and Sarah, several of our colleagues have spoken with Summer's mother off camera. She's even provided videos and photos of her daughter. But tonight, for the first time, she shares her account of what happened the night her daughter went missing, and like her husband, that she believes her 5-year-old girl was taken.
We really miss her very much. She was the angel, our blessing.
Let me go over the red flags right off the bat, okay? Because I do see them. Okay, I'm not blind. I don't think any of you guys are either. So it would be foolish not to acknowledge them. And so far, I see 2 right off the bat. That's one of them, Destiny Holmes, most definitely. I always have a bad feeling when the parent refers to their loved ones, whoever the loved one is of the missing person, refers to them in a past tense. That always bothers me. Always. But usually when that bothers me so much, it's because there are other things that are bothering me, and I'm just like, I don't know so much. And then they do that, and I'm just like, I mean, Chris Watts did it. Letitia Stock did it. You know, I mean, we've seen it before. It's always a red flag. Another red flag that I'm seeing here, and it would be irresponsible of me to not point this out. In my experience, and this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion based on my own personal experience, how I grew up, who I grew up around. I find her now. I could be wrong because I've never spent time in person with Candus. Could just be the way that she is. There's definitely, yes, good point, Giacomo. There's not emotion there, but there's a reason for that I'm suspecting. And again, I could be wrong. Based on my personal experiences in life and who I've spent time with in my life and how I've lived my life, I am seeing someone under the influence of some substance. Could be alcohol, could be benzos, could be opiates, could be freaking paint, you know, and could be medication due to stress. Totally clueless. Absolutely. But I am not getting the impression that she is of her 100% right mind. If I'm going to give a percentage of how much if I'm going to give a percentage from 0 to 100 of her being in the best possible clear state of mind, I'm going to give her a very generous 60. So, and I'm just being honest, guys, and I know a lot of you guys aren't going to like this, and aren't liking to hearing me say this. But yeah. So let's just continue.
The love of our life. She's what made our world go around.
It's been 13 days since Candus Bly and Donald Wells last saw their 5-year-old daughter, Summer.
I'm just scared that somebody is hurting her, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Now that right there, I hate pausing it on that right there, but that right there, she just expressed that she's afraid that something is happening to her. So she did also refer to her in a present tense. So this is what I was getting at, people. This is not the most grammatically correct person. I don't see her as being very well educated. I wouldn't call her stupid. But I would not say that she has a traditional education as most of us do. Just not getting that impression. But so I'm considering all of the other factors, as I was saying before, the talking about the child in a past tense is usually a red flag for me if there's other things that I'm seeing that I don't like. Now, obviously, do I think she's under the influence? Sure. But let's be clear about something. I want to be abundantly clear about something. Do you remember someone who had multiple witnesses placing him at a bar, basically closing out the bar the night before his morning television interview? Can anybody take a guess as to who that was? Witnesses saw him. I'm already giving you a hint because it's a man. So I'm going to let somebody in chat type it in if they can guess. Well, it was Mr. Shane Carey. Absolutely, Jack's mom, you got it. It was Mr. Shane Carey. And Shane Carey was cleared of any investigation. He was cleared as a suspect. Absolutely. And so that to me does not mean. Now, to me, what that told me about Shane Carey was this is just how he knew how to cope. Did it make him, is it the best way to cope? Absolutely not. Not even close. But if this is how she knows how to cope, that to me does not indicate to me that she is capable of hurting her child or doing something to her child. So I'm just being honest here. So I'm not ready to necessarily judge her as far as that goes, of her being under the influence. And her not showing any emotion could be exactly a direct effect of what she took, because maybe she's hiding from the emotions that she's feeling. Maybe she's afraid of the emotions that she's feeling. Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be? And the reason why I say this is because, like I said, I didn't see any inconsistencies in her story. If someone is under the influence, look at how I have that paused. You know what I'm saying? How can somebody who is that inebriated lie so clearly and consistently? How can she keep up with the story so well if she's this incoherent?
It smothers me.
As the almost 2-week-long search through the rough terrain scales back, Summer's parents say they believe someone took their daughter.
Personally, I think someone come up here and grabbed her and ran down the hill.
I think so
and
too.
threw her in a car and drove as far away as they could from this area.
I know she didn't want.
See, that sounded to me like a realist. You know, that's somebody who's just like, we know our daughter. She's not going to wander off. You know, dude, there's like 20 something sex offenders that live within just a few mile radius of them. To get an accurate count on that, watch Profiling Evil's video on the Summer Wells case. Let me get rid of that banner. Hold on. Let me see what this comment is. See, Mystic Firefly, come on. I need people. Come on, guys. You guys are intelligent people. I need you guys to apply this and start looking at this fourth dimensionally. Stop looking at this from a perspective of did they do it or did they not do it? Because that's one avenue to look at. You know what I'm saying? That's only one perspective to apply. Did they do it or did they not do it? So all you have to do is just ask questions. Ask yourself questions. I'm not picking on you, Mystic Firefly. I'm just making a point. Sorry, you are kind of in the hot seat though. But you got to understand that they have been 100% cooperative according to law enforcement. So it's just foolish to me to not think that they searched every inch of this property as thoroughly as possible. The last time they did a press conference, they said 106 agencies were working in concert to locate Summer Wells. I guarantee you, between that and them being cooperative, that tells me that they haven't found anything. Of course they're going to search those vehicles. Why wouldn't they search those vehicles? They wouldn't be good at what they do if they didn't search those vehicles. And I guarantee you, if one agency drops the ball, another agency is going to pick it up. That's the whole point behind all of these agencies working together.
Away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Around 6:30
Now, I
in
want
the
you
evening
guys,
on June 15th.
I want
Came
you
up
guys
here
to pay
and took
attention
her by her
to
swing
how she's
herself or
delivering
off
this
this
information.
This area.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself.
Pay attention to how she's delivering. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay. Pay attention to how she's delivering her information. She's delivering this comment. She does not sound like someone to me who has gone over a story 100 times in her head. She sounds like she's thinking out loud, like she's speculating herself. If someone knows what happened and they're hiding it, I don't know. I don't think that she has the capacity at the moment, at least here, to act that well and come off like she's speculating and trying to understand what happened to her daughter. She's coming off to me as somebody who spends all of her time trying to figure out what happened to her daughter. Yeah, tart with a heart. Yeah, I'm aware. It was taken care of. We all done that once or twice. It was accidental. It's okay.
Or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Around 6:30 in the evening on June.
The way she was saying that, you know, she's just trying to understand it and figure it out. At least that's how I'm taking it. Giving them the benefit of the doubt, that's how I'm taking it. Dude, look at this house. There's no wood paneling. It's not painted. This is a house that was built solely for living in. Just this is the bare minimum of a house that is safe to live in. If that. This is a house of poverty.
June 15th, her father called to report her missing, but he wasn't home yet from work.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
I mean, that's just too elaborate to not be the truth to me from someone who I don't see as a highly intelligent person. We're not dealing with Joe Ray Daniels here. You know what I'm saying? This isn't the same thing. So I you know, she's straight up said, okay, give me just 1 second. And this annoys me. Okay. I'm not mad at anybody. All right. But what's going on in the chat over somebody accidentally getting hit or timed out? Like, why is it being made a big deal of right now? Of all times where it's come on, guys, we can do better than that. Where I'm trying to get the chat to pay attention to this video because we're watching mannerisms, we're watching body language, we're listening to inconsistencies, and I think this takes precedence from something that took place and was accidental and was already fixed. So let's move on from it. Yeah. Thank you.
On.
Summer has 3 older brothers.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
Her parents say she loves princesses, especially the movie Frozen, and to be outside.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl." And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired.
She'd love to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
Now, authorities are looking for the driver of a...
Sorry, I found that to be a little funny. She just loves the dirt, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just loves the dirt. That's, dude, that is as poor gets. This is, I mean, I lived near people in West Virginia that were just like this. I was friends with them. I played with them. Hung out at their house. They hung out at mine. You know, that's how it was back then. You know, I mean, we were neighbors, and we would just like, we'd play out in the dirt, and then one of us would run to the others. It would be one of our houses, maybe one of our houses, and hold on a second. All right. This is going to be my final warning. Whatever's going on in chat, I don't care if you're a mod, I don't care if you're not. It stops now. Okay? Because it's not fair to the rest of my viewers that you're interrupting my live and my moderators of all people can't seem to conduct themselves. Best moderator team I've ever had. And you're going to get mad at me for calling you out here, but it's you. I want you to be self-aware and understand that it's you conducting yourselves the way that you are in my chat for everyone to see. So I don't want to hear about talking to you privately. You did this to yourselves. So either we move on from this, like I said before, or we start making changes. And I don't want that to happen because I love you guys. Cut it out. This is embarrassing.
A red Toyota Tacoma that was in the area around the time Summer went missing, and stressing that this person is a potential witness.
I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
No one has been named a suspect, and authorities have not ruled Summer's disappearance as an abduction. But tonight, her parents have one plea.
Please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go and where we can get her back.
Please bring her back home.
Just let her come home, please.
We miss her so much. Her brothers are so devastated that they wake up every morning crying for their sister. And as a mother, it really hurts to see your other children crying.
Well, for the last few days,
I mean, I'm not seeing... I'm just not seeing... based on the things that I pointed out, because like I said, the only red flags that I'm seeing is that she's not necessarily in the best possible state of mind currently. And I'm not seeing inconsistencies in her story. What's crazy to me is the fact that she does seem under the influence to me of something would make me believe that, I mean, how could she possibly lie so consistently under the influence the way that she is? She can't even hide that she's under the influence. You know what I mean? Like, I can do that. You know what I mean? That was the challenge in high school, showing up to class and not being obvious. Okay, we can drop it now, though. Okay, please and thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I mean, it's hard enough to maintain like hiding that you're high, you know. Now again, I don't have a drug test on her. I've never spent any time around her, so I don't know what she's like all the time. Maybe that's just how she is. But somebody who's just like that all the time, I don't see them. I mean, it's still not telling me that they would be these criminal masterminds that got rid of every bit of evidence, including a scent from dogs. Anything that would pick up a scent from dogs, and got rid of everything. And then still managed to lie so consistently. The both of them together. So I'm just not... let's listen to this interviewer's perspective, because she was the one that actually interviewed her. So let's listen to her real quick.
We have referred to Candus's mother as Candus Wells because that's what she went by on Facebook. But tonight she told me that her name is Candus Bly, and Bly is her maiden name.
2 weeks tomorrow, since we are told she called authorities. And you mentioned how she's really been reluctant to be interviewed until tonight. What do you think it was that changed that made her want to go and talk to you tonight?
I have spoken with her several times via social media. She actually ended up messaging my professional Facebook account. We have talked a few times there, and today I went up and was able to introduce myself to her, and she told me that she had been reluctant just because of all of the backlash on social media. She said that she had been reading the comments, but after speaking with her a couple of times this evening, she said that she was finally ready for people to hear her side of the story.
And you had a chance to ask what I'm sure a lot of people were wondering about, why Summer's hair was so short.
Now we're definitely going to want to hear about that. Now that they explained, I saw a clip, man, where I can actually play it for you probably. Let's hear what she actually did say about that if we can. But I'm going to have to play it over the phone here because I couldn't find it on my computer. But that interview was actually a bit longer, and there's a few little clips that took place here. There we go.
See that you reported a problem via our virtual assistant.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers.
All right, we already heard that. Hold on.
We went in.
Let's try this one.
How are you today, Mr. Scripted?
Sorry
the
about the
technician has already
ads.
been called.
It's got ads going on, but
She didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard. I feel in my heart that somebody came up here and took her, has lured
we
her
already
away
heard
from
that
here.
too. Hold on. This is all separated in all these clips. It's kind of annoying, and I apologize, guys.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it. I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head to so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point.
Now I want to hear that again because I was actually talking to somebody about this, and
They've been called. They'll text you when they're.
and there was something that was an inconsistency that they found, but I'm not sure about it. Hold on. It plays an ad every time, but it's short. Not short enough.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it. I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head to so she wouldn't feel bad, and but.
Oh, okay. So what he's saying here, so his story right there is that
She was a tomboy.
I don't know why it's still
She
home.
wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
Yeah, we heard that already. Stop. So no, it had nothing to do with lice. Lice was just a speculation. Right, Jessica Moon, thank you. The lice story was just a speculation. And this is where Occam's razor comes to mind. Occam's razor being the principle where the simplest answer is usually the correct one, right? And that was it. They just shaved. She wanted to shave her head. Kids do that. They get a hold of the clippers. She's the youngest out of with three brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they probably all shave their head. So she emulates them. She idolizes them. So, I mean, I'm not seeing, I'm not seeing anything suspicious about that, especially that being just the simplest explanation. They're just like, yeah, I mean, I shave my head. Like, why is that a thing? So the dad is saying that Candus shaved her head so that Summer wouldn't feel bad. So that's pretty funny to me, because a lot of the talk was that how could a parent shave their beautiful head of hair on their little girl? That's abusive. You know, that's they probably did it as a form of punishment. And so what they're saying here is she kept trying to shave her head. And then once she finally shaved her head, she probably felt like she was going to get in trouble or something. Probably didn't like it. Probably thought, oh my God, what did I do to my beautiful hair? And then mom shaved her head. Said, don't worry about it. I'm going to shave my head too. It's all good. You're a tomboy. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, like, what kind of a controlling man, a controlling, abusive man is letting his wife and little girl shave their heads just to do it? Like, I'm not getting this. I mean, these two are sitting together. They don't seem to have any animosity towards each other. The one thing, though, is she's married to this man, but she goes by her maiden name. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I would be remiss if I did not mention that. Again, anybody could just be called what they want to be called. Maybe she just thinks Bly sounds cooler than Wells. I don't know. But usually when a wife decides to take, usually when a wife decides to use her maiden name during a marriage, it's probably a bad sign, especially if she was already going by the married name. So that's something that I'm concerned about. But it's not that big a deal, because again, when I start to think about that, what I do is I use my common sense and I start to ask myself questions. And then I come back to the same answer. Well, all accounts dictate that he was at work when this happened. And every other indication about this man shows me that he's a loving father and husband. Mystic Firefly, the sons did not go swimming, according to her, because they wanted to stay home and play video games, because that's what they do. They're not outdoorsy like Summer is. Right. It's Angela Gold. That's all I'm saying. It merits being pointed out if we're trying to understand the dynamic that's going on here. So you know what I mean? I don't see a big deal. Because like I said, all the other stuff that I'm seeing about them indicates that they care about each other. Right. And the thing is a lot of parents. I know my brother was put in charge of watching me, and he's only 2 years older than me. But a lot of times when we were young kids in St. Louis in West Virginia, my brother was put in charge of watching me. My brother and my cousins in West Virginia were put in charge of watching me. You know, my brother and my older cousin are the same age. I'm 2 years younger. So, you know what I mean? Like it's not a rare thing. If a child shows that much responsibility, you know what I mean? You can assess whether or not you can trust that child. Risks are going to happen, but in some cases, you see that kids are way more protective of their siblings and way more chill with their siblings than taking the risk of getting a stranger to come in and babysit, which I don't think that they can afford anyway. So you make do with what you have. Yeah, it just wasn't a big deal back then. And these people are living, aside from internet access and cell phones and social media, aside from that stuff, these people are living the same way that people in poverty lived in the early 80s. It's the same. That's it. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, Steve Maidman, I know. Well, that's what we're here to shut down. And I'm not even here to shut that down. I'm not saying they weren't involved. We still don't know. What I'm saying is I'm not seeing anything to actually indicate to me that I should suspect them. So far, consistently, I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing things that make me question their personalities more or less, but I'm not seeing anything that would indicate to me that these people would do anything to harm any of their children. Look at this right here. My 12-year-old stays home and plays video games while my 5-year-old wants to go roll in the mud. She's always covered in dirt. She's Princess Tomboy. Y'all act like this is uncommon just because it's not something that you are used to, that you've ever been exposed to. It's not uncommon. What's up, Mexi? Homie. This is a normal country lifestyle. Absolutely. But this is a normal country lifestyle where they just happen to be living in the second poorest area in all of Tennessee, and they're clearly in poverty. Clearly. So I'm seeing just a whole bunch of poverty shaming all over the internet, because that's what it boils down to. I was talking to somebody today. I was talking to a close loved one today. And we were discussing this case, and he didn't even know about it. He was just like, well, it sounds to me like everybody's just judging these people. And dude, he's such a conservative. But he's like, it sounds to me like everybody's just judging them based on poverty. You know? It was my brother. I'll just say it. It was my brother. He hasn't been following the case. I was telling him about the case. And he was like, yeah, it just sounds to me like, I was telling him about how all these other YouTube channels are acting the way they're acting, covering this case. And he's like, it just sounds like these people, you know, are judging them because they don't have any money. And I was like, yeah, poverty shaming. He's like, yeah. You know, when we were just talking about it, he was like, I was like, it's like these people want these parents to be guilty of this crime. I don't want these parents to be guilty of this crime. That would be the worst news yet. First of all, we still don't know what happened to her. So when you jump to the conclusion that these parents murdered their own child, then guess what? You automatically have lost hope that this child is okay. You can't have one without the other. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You don't get to sit there and make accusations and make illusions that this family is responsible for what happened to Summer, and they're lying about it, because that would indicate that they murdered her. Would it not? And then at the other side of your mouth be like, hopes and prayers that Summer comes home safe. Nah, dude. You don't get to have both. Doesn't work that way. When you give up hope, when you start to accuse a mother and a father of having something to do with whatever happened to their child without knowing what happened to their child, you're assuming the worst. You're just not saying it out loud, but you're assuming the worst. And then on the other side of your mouth, you're saying hopes and prayers that she's okay. No, dude, you're contradicting yourself. Can't have one without the other. Because if you truly hope that this child is coming home safe, then you hope that her parents are telling the truth. And you hope that, and the way that you hope that, you express hope and you express gratitude. And what you do is you look at the positives. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You dig for the benefit of the doubt, for the sake of hope for this child. That is what you do. You know, I mean, I don't know what this woman's habits are. Maybe she's under prescription medication for what's going on. Maybe she has a prescription for that. You know what I'm saying? But I was seeing somebody that was borderline incoherent. Right? While basically, you know, yes, not showing any emotion. But who's to say that she's not showing any emotion simply because she's borderline incoherent? And then on top of it, being consistent in everything that she says. That just doesn't make sense. The only way that makes sense is if she's telling the truth. Medication, exhaustion, absolutely, Braun. All right, let's hear. Yeah, great point. Yeah, great point. Right.
And both Summer's mother and father had comments about that.
They both told me that she had already cut her hair. They said it's something most little girls do. They get a hold of the scissors and already cut her hair, and that they just decided to go ahead and shave it all off. It was just a little bit too difficult, is what they told me, to go ahead and style it that way. Her mother did tell me that she shaved her head as well to make Summer feel more comfortable, but that was why they told me her hair was a lot shorter than originally pictured.
Ansley, Daniel, something that a lot of us have been waiting for hearing from Summer Wells's mother. It's something that we all wanted to hear, and you got that opportunity.
Absolutely. And tonight, like I said, both of them had their plea. They wanted, who they say believe took their daughter, they want her to come home. They just want that person to bring her home.
Right, Ansley, thank you.
And you can watch more of Ansley's.
It's so annoying that I have to address this. Here we go. So the story of the hair cutting was two different stories from mom and dad. Why is that? They were not two different stories from mom and dad. What you did was you misheard. She explained. She was like, her attitude was like, what's the big deal? She was sitting there going, oh wow, thank you, Jam. Welcome to Patreon. And Lori, thank you for the PayPal. She her reaction should be noted. Her reaction when asked about the shaved head, that what I just played you, should be noted. Her reaction was that of somebody who's like, why is everybody focused on the shaved head? Where's my daughter? Why is everybody just, okay, she's got short hair. Look for a kid with short hair. You know what I'm saying? That's how she came off to me. Just like, why am I even being questioned about her hair? She's a tomboy. I got short hair. The boy's got short hair. So what? That was her answer. And then the dad was just kind of like, well, yeah. And she kept on getting a hold of scissors. She kept on cutting her own hair. You see it in some of the pictures. And then we ended up just shaving it all off so it would grow back long again. And in order to not make her feel bad, she shaved her head, meaning mom shaved her head in order to not make her feel bad. That is not conflicting stories.
Interview online at WJHL.com. You can also follow the search for Summer Wells there as well. We want to mention this again. TBI says they're looking for a potential witness, not a suspect, but a witness. That person could be the driver of a Toyota pickup truck that was spotted around Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening, June 14th or June 15th. The truck is possibly a red or maroon Toyota Tacoma around 1998 to 2000. It has a full bed ladder truck with white buckets in the bed.
Today, the reward fund for summer has been finalized. Incident Commander Tim Coop said anybody can contribute. Visit any Civis Bank branch to put money into the Churchill Rescue Squad Summer Wells reward account. If no tips lead to the little girl, the money will stay there for 6 months and then be donated to the Children's Advocacy Center.
If you know anything about the location or the disappearance of Summer Wells, even if it's just a little bit of information, investigators want to hear from you. Call 1-800-TBI-FIND. The number and the email are listed there on your screen and on our website. And remember, you can remain anonymous.
And I'm willing to bet money. I'm willing to bet that these TV news reporters have an inside source into law enforcement. There's 106 agencies working together. Somebody is saying off the record, they're not suspects, or they are suspects. You cannot print this. You cannot go on your channel and talk about this. But off the record, because if off the record, I'm of the opinion, this is just a speculation myself. This is just, I'm speculating here. But off the record, I'm thinking if off the record he or any law enforcement agent that's talking to a news reporter and they say, and 1 second, guys, I'm sorry. Very sorry about that, folks. A little bit of an interruption, but everything's okay. Yeah, I'm thinking that a police officer who is talking to a reporter off the record to keep them somewhat informed of what's going on, if they're saying that, if they're talking to a reporter and saying that they think that the parents are a suspect or they're suspects in some way, the focus, the narrative of that report would be more towards making her seem guilty. I wasn't getting that at all. I was getting a lot of empathy from this reporter and this channel. There was no indications. They seem to be wanting to do the same thing that I'm trying to do, which is cancel out all the crap that you're hearing, all the white noise, all the rumors. That was their way of making some sort of effort to get off of that and stop social media from stirring up so many rumors. That was their way of responsibly contributing a certain narrative, or avoiding a certain narrative, better yet. Now, Mystic Firefly, according to Candus, the 15-year-old that they took swimming is very, very close to the family. And that kid calls Candus either Aunt Candus or Mom. I can't remember. That was according to the Unmasked interview. And supposedly the same kid refers to Candus's mom as grandma. So apparently he's extremely close to that family, and he's known as H, only H. Nancy Eileen, honestly, even if I could, I couldn't. I would not want to. I mean, considering the terrain and everything, I would respect law enforcement saying, leave this to the professionals. We don't want to have to end up looking for you, and that is very, very dangerous out there, supposedly. And I wouldn't want to hinder their investigation in any way, shape, or form. The best thing that we can do as YouTubers is sit back and let the professionals do their jobs, especially if they're telling us specifically to do that. Again, like I was saying yesterday, I mean, we're YouTubers. You know what I mean? Stick to just YouTubing. You know what I mean? Let the professionals do the investigations, man. Let the professionals do their jobs. Thank you, Louisiana girl. Aunt Candace and Grandma. Yeah. I believe on that side of Tennessee, it's actually the Appalachian. But I could be wrong. Nancy Eileen. What's up, woman of Sparta? Yeah, so I mean, I'm not seeing this woman finally goes on camera and she gives an interview to Unmasked. The Unmasked interview is, in my opinion, very much in line with the television interview here. I'm not hearing any inconsistencies, and I'm not seeing a person capable of lying so consistently, considering the condition that she appears to be in. Again, I don't know her, never met her. That's just my observation from what I'm seeing. That's all we can do. All right. All right. So Annie just texted me. She says she's dropping a vid in 30 minutes. And she's like, I don't think you're gonna like it. But we can agree, we can disagree, and we can be respectful. And I am a moderator for Annie. And I'm a proud moderator for Annie. And no matter what she's saying, I'm going to be there in her chat, whether I agree with her or not. And I'm going to moderate her chat. And I'm going to do it because I respect her and I respect her channel. And for no other reason other than that. So before we go in there, like I said, I don't see any inconsistencies in her story. We're going to switch gears, though, and we're going to talk about another subject that I feel it bothers me that nobody's really talking about it. I'm not even seeing random things on the news about it. I mean, obviously, news stations are talking about it because, yeah, that's my that's my Law and Order text tone there. But so yeah, there's this issue. There's this situation that took place in Arvada, Colorado. There was a shooting last Monday, I think, and there are, and I did a live about it. And I pointed out that these men were heroes, but we didn't have any details on the case. But I did find a news story that has surveillance footage and a timeline of what took place of this shooting. And before I sign off, I actually want to go ahead and talk about this because this is one of these things that I feel we should be talking about. Because there are good things that happen. When bad things happen, good things happen, such as heroes. And these heroes gave their lives, and nobody's talking about them. Or at least, in my opinion, not nearly enough people are talking about them. So I'm going to use my platform to talk about them. If this video ever loads. Hopefully it does. Sorry it's taking so long. If not, I will just read the article. But I really want to go over that surveillance footage, which would be really nice. All right, doesn't look like it's gonna go. That's pretty frustrating. Or wait.
Arvada police offered their most detailed timeline yet of the shooting in Old Town Monday.
Come on. All right, so now we're seeing at least the surveillance. This is the truck that the assailant pulled up in.
Newly released surveillance video shows the suspect, Ronald Troike, ambushing Officer Gordon Beasley. Johnny Hurley, the Good Samaritan who then intervened, shot Troike, and Arvada police are confirming what we told you earlier this week, that it was then a responding officer who shot and killed the Good Samaritan. Police said that Hurley had picked up the suspect's gun at that point. Today's new details answer some key questions about what happened.
9 News reporter Luis De Leon walks us through how this all started and what unfolded. We just want to warn you, some of this surveillance video is hard to see.
It was what looked to be a normal Monday until shooting in Old Town Arvada led to the killing of beloved Arvada police officer Gordon Beasley and 40-year-old Johnny Hurley. And as of Friday, we now have a more detailed look at what happened that day, a timeline laid out by police. At 12:49, the shooter's brother called police to warn them, saying Ronald was going to, quote, do something crazy. Officer Beasley and another officer responded to Troike's apartment at 108, but couldn't find him. 9 minutes later, police got a call about a suspicious person in the Old Town Square. And that's what brings us here, 131. Police say that's Troike pulling into this parking lot. Officer Beasley shows up and walks through an alley towards the square. That's him at the top of the screen. But you can see the shooter grabs what police say is a shotgun and runs towards Officer Beasley, even passing people who just happen to be walking by. The shooter gets to Officer Beasley, and we'll pause the video here. Police say Troike shot Beasley twice. The shooter then goes back to his truck and grabs what police say was an AR-15. It does not show what happened next, but police say Hurley shot the gunman. When officers got on scene, they say they found Hurley holding the suspect's gun. Police now confirm an officer shot Hurley. Still, police again calling Hurley a hero Friday for stopping the shooter and saving lives.
There are two investigations going on, one being handled by Arvada police that looks into Officer Beasley's death, the other looking into Johnny Hurley's death, being handled by a critical incident response team because an officer used force.
Arvada police say that the gunman, Troike, left a handwritten note in his apartment saying he was setting out to kill as many police officers as he could that day.
The family of Johnny Hurley says they're proud of him. They shared a statement before we learned what exactly happened, saying in part, before Johnny engaged in a clear-eyed response to a dire situation, he was already a wonderful human being with a great enthusiasm for life. He called out injustice when he saw it. He brought joy to many people and looked for the good in others. Moving forward without Johnny feels impossible. We are so proud of him. Hurley's family did not provide any new statement after Arvada police shared the new details of the investigation.
Okay, so basically what happened, the story is, according to witnesses, that this John Hurley gentleman happened to be in a Army Navy surplus store, and he's a licensed carrier. He heard gunshots and rushed out. We just saw the surveillance footage of this person who I don't even want to say his name. Again, I don't want to give this guy any notoriety whatsoever. And he clearly left a note saying that he was going out to shoot as many police officers as he possibly could. And then his brother called the police and warned them and said, "Hey, my brother, he's about to do something crazy." And so after this, police begin to respond, but this person already found Officer Beasley, shot him twice. He basically just rolled up on him with no other motive other than just to kill cops. So he shoots Officer Beasley, and then Hurley runs out of the RV Navy surplus store because he heard the shots. He takes down the assailant, but he makes a crucial mistake here. And I'm not disrespecting the man in any way, shape, or form. This is why people need to be trained. Okay. When I say be a responsible gun carrier, in order to protect yourself, in order to save lives and protect yourself, not only other people, because this man on his way there was telling people to take cover. He had the mindset the entire time of saving lives. Make no mistake about that. But he made one crucial mistake, something you even see in the movies. But the cops respond and they see a civilian with a gun and a person lying dead on the ground. And he's got an assault rifle in his hand. He's got an AR-15 assault rifle in his hand. Hurley does, the Good Samaritan, right? Now, what he should have done, in my opinion, I'm just guessing. I'm not a trained professional myself, but what got this man shot, in my opinion, was that he picked up this weapon. What he should have done, once he saw he was down, kicked the weapon away from him, put his hands up, and said, I just shot this man. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Now, did the officer respond with fire prematurely? Maybe. Was his life in imminent danger? Did it come off like he was going to point the AR-15 at the officer that shot him? We don't know. There's obviously an investigation going on into that. I'd have to see that footage myself to form an opinion. But I'm of the opinion that in order to avoid any one of those scenarios, Hurley, Mr. Hurley, the Good Samaritan, the hero, make no mistake about that, could have saved his own life had he just simply kicked the weapon away, given the circumstances that I'm not aware of because I don't see the footage all the way up to that point. Okay, Mrs. R&B, I don't know. I don't know what you say in that situation. But what I'm saying is kick the weapon away and in whatever way, shape, or form that you possibly can, make yourself seem as least of a threat to the officer responding. That's my opinion. But now I'm not saying that it's his fault that he got shot either. I want to be clear about that. I'm not saying that it was John Hurley's fault that he got shot. Because again, we don't know the circumstances. We don't know what words were exchanged between John Hurley and the responding officer. We don't know. So it's quite possible that officer just panicked and shot John Hurley because he happened to see him holding an AR-15 and rushed to assumption. It's quite possible. But it could be that he misconstrued his the situation, misjudged the situation, and prematurely shot this poor man who was just acting as a hero. But it could very well be that the officer merely was just doing his job. But I have no doubt in my mind that the officer thought, no matter what the scenario, thought he was doing his job. But there is also the possibility that this officer rushed to judgment, right? Rushed to judgment and was angry that there was somebody out there targeting cops, and he's sick and tired of all the hype going on, but with defunding the police, and this has gone too far. I saw this coming, and maybe he's gung-ho and super trigger happy and was like, go around shooting my brothers in blue. I'm taking you down. And then he saw a dude with an AR-15 and popped him. It's very possible. Very, very possible. In fact, there's even a likelihood to it. I'm not saying that is the likelihood. I'm saying there's a likelihood to it. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how this investigation goes. But I'm going to continue talking about this because I want this man's name. I want both of these men's names to be remembered. So, yeah, let's see. It takes a lot of training to be able to handle having shot someone. Could be he wasn't thinking clearly after he had taken the guy down. I mean, I don't think it got, I mean, again, we got to look at the entire scenario of what we know so far, EcoSpice. I get what you're saying, but what leads me to believe that that's not the case is his actions prior to that. And also keep in mind, he's an activist as well. So I'm guessing he's probably a big Second Amendment activist. And if you're an intelligent activist, then you want to be infallible in every possible way so that you don't make the cause that you are fighting for look bad in the public eye in any way, shape, or form. You don't want to do that. So I'm thinking, seeing as he's an activist, seeing as he responded so quickly without even thinking, without even considering everything. Now, could that have been a problem? Yeah, but the problem with that is he was also making it a point to make sure that everyone, all the bystanders that he came in contact with, were out of harm's way. He was keeping them safe. Their safety was the number one thing on his mind. Yeah, I don't think, right. Exactly, Kiki Rose. So all of that leading up to that, all of a sudden he's going to be like, I'm going to shoot everybody. No, man. He's, I'm sure his adrenaline was pumping, but I don't think he's not properly trained. And he didn't know exactly how to handle a situation like that. Probably didn't think it all the way through. Because I'm not picking up an AR-15. If I already had a gun, like I said, I'm going to make myself as least threatening to the responding officers as possible. They're going to say, put the gun down, put the gun down. If they're following procedure, they're going to say, put the gun down, put the gun down. And I go, okay. Okay. Interlock your fingers. Yes, sir. Right? So, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick the gun away, not pick it up. So that not only is this man no longer a threat to anyone else around me or myself, but I am not a threat. I don't appear to be a threat to the responding officer. And that's a great observation to make, EcoSpice. It's just so far from anything I've ever lived through. Same here. I've had cops point their guns at me before. No comment, not getting into that. But yeah, that's happened. But you better believe, and I was 17. You better believe that when the cops pointed their guns at me and yelled at me, making commands, I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. You have any sharp weapons on? You have any weapons or sharp objects on you? No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Doing everything that they say. If they tell me to do it slowly, I do it slowly. If they tell me to do it faster, I'm doing it faster. Like, I am not getting shot if I can help it. I am not getting shot if I can help it. So I'm just saying, we don't know what the circumstances are. And I really hope that it was accidental. I really hope that this police officer did not act out of rage due to the situation. Because all of this stuff, man, it gets to us, right? It does. We're seeing it on the news all the time, man. We're seeing it on the news, defund the police, blah, blah, blah. Or we're seeing a police officer abusing his power or her power and taking it too far where somebody dies. In the Derek Chauvin case, it was George Floyd was murdered. I don't care what you say. I saw it on video. I don't care what your political stance is. I don't care what you believe over here and believe over there. I don't care if you're racist or not racist. I don't care. What I'm saying is this dude stood on this man's neck for 9 minutes. He kept saying, I can't breathe. There were bystanders begging him to let his knee off of his neck, begging him. An off-duty EMT saying, hey, like, can I at least check his vitals? And being refused to be able to do so. That was a murder. I don't care what you say. I'm not even sure. I can't. I don't agree with the sentence. It's too light. It's too light. 22 years for that? Nah, man. Nah, I'm of the opinion he should have got more. I know a lot of you will probably disagree. He should have got more. Do I think he should have got life? Not necessarily. I don't know. Because like I said, I don't think that it was premeditated. I don't think he was sitting on this dude's neck going, I'm going to kill this guy. Yeah. I think just he allowed his pride to take him over because he was Derek Chauvin. Who are these people? I'm in my uniform. Who do these people think that they're going to tell what to do? Who's the authority figure? Me or them? And so he just sat there looking everybody in the eyes as he stood on this man's neck. I mean, is that murder? Second, third degree? First degree? I don't know. All I know is I don't think that he premeditatedly did that, but his pride and his ego made him not care whether or not he killed this man. That's what I think. All right. Sorry, I just see something going on in my chat, and I'm trying to decide if I need to do something about it. So far, no. But I got my eye on somebody. But yeah. Yeah, so this person that's hijacking my chat, if you guys could just ignore them, because they're not really saying anything that's offensive, but they're definitely luring you in to give them all the attention. So don't give it to them. Just don't give it to them. Like, it's real easy. It's real easy. I don't want to have to step in and start. Your phone overheated? Oh my God, Nicole H. I'm glad you're back though. What's up, Mary Lopez? I ain't seen you in forever. All right, yeah, and you calm down too, okay? That doesn't mean that you get to have free will to just whine and moan in my chat either. So how about everybody knock it off? Well, I appreciate that you're here, Maria Wilcox. Guys, this was not my favorite live I've done. I'm going to be honest with you. I apologize for the behavior for some of my supporters. For those of you who are just trying to get the best that they could out of what I was doing here. I'm grateful to you guys. I appreciate you. And I apologize to you on behalf of everyone who does support me that sometimes lose a little control and misbehave in the chat as well. So I do apologize on behalf of them. And I'm grateful to you guys for sticking around, and I'm grateful to you guys for all of your support. You know, for those of you who super chatted and give it PayPals and have joined Patreon. Mrs. R&B, I'm not going to private this one. This isn't a Patreon stream. This is not that. This is going to stay up. I'm not going to private it. I mean, I will if I might, but it won't be my decision to do that. But thank you, EcoSpice. I appreciate that. Steve, it's always good to see you, buddy. Yeah. Actually, give me 1 second, Christy. I will hook you up with that. Hold on. Sorry about that. I clicked off a StreamYard. All right. So this is the link to my Patreon. If you guys would like to join, I would love to have you. And we always have fun in Patreon. So it's rarely ever serious and depressing content. Even when I talk about true crime, I talk about like old retro true crime cases, serial killers, or, you know, or high profile cases from the 90s, early 2000s, is what I've done so far anyway. So if that's something that you like to listen to, and you're interested in my take on cases that you followed in the past, that's what basically I do on Patreon. Anyways, guys, I'm going to call it. Head on over to Annie's 10 to Life. And I will see you guys, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.